Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Chaos broke out in Jamaica's parliament. Shut your mouth and let me talk. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 24th March 2023. Details when we return.
Hubbard's Multi-Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Welcome back. Massa Mark, shut your mouth, let me talk. Unparliamentary behavior with no one backing down. The Speaker had to adjourn and take a look at the Hansard with a view to ruling thereafter. More in this TVJ news item.
Now, Gio, there was also chaos in Parliament as the parliamentary opposition walked out of Gordon House after the finance minister referred to the opposition leader as Massa G. Now, this seems to have its genesis at a recent PNP meeting in Nannyville, St. Andrew, where opposition leader Mark Golding spoke. A word used by Mr. Golding may be offensive to some viewers.
Because the Prime Minister come to Parliament today. 6 hours, it's over 6 hours and have us in there, you know. Mind you, over 1 hour, it's like as him start talk, it's like God does say, no, cut the mic because we can't deal with that. And of course, the Labour right, they must say, we are sabotage the thing. Them so damn fool. Everything what happen now, them say how we do it. If this group go on strike, them say how we. If this one go slow, they say how we. And if the mic stop working at Parliament, them say how we.
I saw a clip yesterday when the opposition leader referred to Labourites, Madam Speaker, or those who identify with a particular party known as the Jamaica Labour Party. And I can't say the words, but he said, beep fools. Beep fools. Call them beep fools. Madam Speaker, that never sound like Marky G to me. That sound like Massa Mark. Massa Mark, Madam Speaker.
Now, Dr. Clark went on to describe the mood of the opposition because no new taxes have been introduced in the fiscal year.
It seems to hurt them, Madam Speaker. It hurt them. And it hurt Massa Mark too. It burned him.
Come on, on a point of order, Madam Speaker. No, on a point of order, Madam Speaker. On a point of order, Madam Speaker. On a point of order, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I believe that the Minister of Finance, in terms of shut your mouth and let me talk. I know you would find it. I know you would have a problem with that. I know you would have a problem with that. I know you would have a problem with that. No, I know you would have a problem with that. I know you would have a problem with that. Point of order, Madam Speaker. I have not made my point. I was in a point of order.
The member has used unparliamentary language in the Honourable House by indicating that the member should shut his mouth.
Who is the Minister of Finance referring to as Massa Mark?
And so is
who is he referring to as Massa Mark in the Parliament?
That's it.
Who is he referring to as Massa Mark? That is not parliamentary language either.
Now, House Speaker Marissa Dalrymple-Filbert said that the language used by MP Dr. Angela Brown-Burke was unparliamentary and asked that she withdraw the words.
If I'm going to withdraw your words, allow me to do it. If I'm to withdraw it, I'm not going to do it on your terms. You don't have the right. No, I'm not. No, I am not going to do it on your terms. I am willing to withdraw it, but not on your terms. Not while you try to shut me up. The members over there say shut him out every day, and you have nothing to say about it.
Now, the Speaker stated that next week she will rule on the matter after receiving a copy of Hansard, and that is a transcript of what is said during parliamentary sessions.
The Financial Investigations Division, FID, in Jamaica is urging local businesses, particularly entities operating in the financial sector, to strengthen their technological safeguards and intensify the enforcement of policies which target insider threat. CVM Live's Javine McLean has that story.
Speaking recently at a seminar held by the Financial Investigations Division, FID, head of the Constabulary Unit, Inspector Brenton Williams, highlighted the importance of companies keeping tabs on the amount of access afforded to some employees. He notes the level of inside threat has increasingly become a concern for organizations.
Sometimes you see the same individual who is approving certain processes is the same one that actually initiated it. We need to know our employees. Why we can't have a system in place where an employee tell you what his assets and liabilities. So at the end of the day, if you see him living outside of what you know about him, you can start to ask some questions and you start to look at him. What is wrong with that?
Inspector Williams cited 13 cases of insider threat being investigated or prosecuted by the FID over the period 2019 to 2022. He strongly encouraged businesses, particularly those which manage investments and deposits, to significantly strengthen their systems of compliance and monitoring.
At the end of the day, we have to do much more when it comes on to having the different, whether it's software or if it is getting more staff, whether it's training, but we need to do better. Too much of these matters where, the insider threat is the issue.
Meanwhile, the Chief Technical Director of the FID, Selvin Hay, adds insider threat incidents increased 44% globally over the period 2020 to 2022, and the costs per incident has increased by more than a third to $15.38 million. He quoted Cybersecurity Insider's 2021 Insider Threat Report, which polled hundreds of businesses across the world and found an increasing trend in insider threat incidents.
Many organizations are still ill-equipped to mitigate the risks they pose. And the report also revealed that nearly 50% of organizations can't detect insider threats or can only detect them after the damage is done.
In 2022, 56% of insider threat incidents were related to negligence, 26% were criminal malicious, and 18% were related to theft of user credentials. Javine McLean, CVM Live.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Following a recent meeting between OECS member countries operating citizenships by investment programs and the United States government representatives, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew indicated that the country had already been implementing legislative and regulatory changes to strengthen the program. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
Making comments on the matter on a regional radio talk show, Prime Minister Drew emphasized the continued relevance of the rule of law, suggesting the CBI is no different. Hence the focus on a tight and efficient due diligence process for CBI applicants for St. Kitts and Nevis.
We have always maintained that due diligence has to be a fundamental part of the program and should never ever be compromised. And so this legislation will strengthen that as well. And so we are also saying to international partners that we are willing to work with you to ensure that due diligence is at the best level that it can be at. And so from time to time, we will have to review to make sure that we are doing that. And that is why I said we have to be responsible partners with this particular program. Other countries and regions are looking at the program. As you know, we recently met with a delegation from the United States of America, all of the OECS prime ministers where CBI is done. I would say that that meeting was a very fruitful meeting. We came out with an understanding with 6 points that we are to pursue. But I would say that St. Kitts and Nevis, we had already been along that path. And so we'll continue to move along that path to strengthen it. I would say we don't want to strengthen the program just to satisfy anybody outside only, but we want to do it for ourselves.
Among the 6 agreed principles between the U.S. and the OECS countries operating CBI programs were the agreement not to process applications from persons whose applications have been denied in other CBI jurisdictions, the conduct of interviews with applicants, whether virtually or in person, and the auditing of the program in each country every 2 years. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Trinidad and Tobago's opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar calls the Director of Public Prosecutions a decent, honest man and reveals what she says is a motive for a sinister plot by the government to remove him. The UNC political leader was speaking at her party's Monday night forum.
I condemn wholeheartedly, in every way, the thuggish, the gangster-like attacks on DPP Roger Gaspard and the high officers of this land. They're operating like thugs, like gangsters.
Kamla Persad-Bissessar says too many dangerous things are happening in the country. Aside from the Prime Minister and his Attorney General's public criticism of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the leader of the opposition says she was particularly taken aback by Chief Justice Ivor Archie's utterances over the weekend.
Why are you engaging in that battle down in the Gile? You know, Roger Gaspard has only one boss. Yes, he has, all of us are his bosses, but you know his real boss in law? He has only one boss, and that is the Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago. Why would a Chief Justice jump in the Gile on the political fray on the ground in a 10-page open public statement?
More importantly, she asks, why now?
Did somebody tell you to do it? Is it payback time, Chief Justice? Is it Trump and follow suit? That Rowley said it, Amos said it, and you now jump in with two of them to back them up, Trump and follow suit? Why are you doing that? And that to me is a very important question.
She accuses the PNM of creating a history for themselves of undermining and compromising independent officers.
Hey, look what happened today. Great big news in town. Rowley has sworn in his puppet president today. Puppet president. So every institution he wants total control of. That has been their history, their playbook.
In calling Roger Gaspard a decent, honest, and honorable office holder, Persad-Bissessar reflects on the demise of Dillian Johnson, an open accuser of the Chief Justice.
Last time anybody talked about that high judicial officer, the man became a refugee in England. You all remember that? So if you want to condemn people, you must be careful when you live in a glass house. Don't pelt stones. Don't pelt stones. I am not afraid of any of you. I said I'll meet you anywhere. Inside the parliament, outside the parliament, and on the pavement too.
As it relates to the Prime Minister's criticism of the failure by the DPP to occupy the building rented for the DPP's office, the opposition leader reflected on the murder of Special State Prosecutor Dana Sitahal, saying that multiple special branch reports suggest, from a security point of view, the building is not safe. She also says the presidential pardon requested for King's Counsel Vincent Nelson is now possible with incoming President Christine Kangaloo. Furthermore, Persad-Bissessar asserts what the then AG attempted in the case of Nelson is tantamount to witness tampering, and she links it to what she says is the real reason for the powers that be to want Gaspard removed.
They want him out because they're afraid of being charged for what? Witness tampering, corruption, misbehavior in public office by Paris and the Rowley government. That is what is a serious threat here to them.
The opposition leader publicly called on Police Commissioner Erla Christopher to investigate the allegations of witness tampering. Urvashi Tiwari, Rupnarayan, TV6 News.
Hubbards is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.